Show Up and Shine planner, which is this. You might have been seeing it on Facebook lately, maybe a little bit. I am super excited about it because there are quite a few people that have gotten it. They've received their planner and they're using it. Some of them I get to see every day using their planner, but one of the things that I haven't done is kind of gone through how to use it. So I thought that would be pretty helpful. So if you are joining me on Facebook Live, then definitely ask your questions. I'm happy to take questions. I am not wearing my glasses because I was trying to not appear like I needed glasses. So it's a little hard for me to see the screen. But if you have questions, give me questions. But just to give you a little background, I have been a planner fiend for many, many years. I have had day planners, day timers, Franklin Covey planners, just lots of planners. Even had some decorative calendars, even the old-fashioned, almost weekly, like, oh, what do you have going on Tuesday at 8:30? So I've used quite a few planners, and it wasn't until a few years ago that I decided it was time for me to make my own planner. And I am a techie person. I love my Apple devices. I love my reminders in both my phone, my iPad, and my desktop. They all sync. It's a beautiful thing. I love that when I am on the elliptical trainer that I can just grab my phone and type in a note and it's captured. That's fantastic. But it doesn't really take hold of my day until I get it into a planner or a planning system. So that's where that was the genesis of the Show Up and Shine planner. Is I needed, while I love my devices, I use my online calendars, I needed a way to start and end my day, reviewing things that I had to do, things that I didn't get done, things that I'll have to do the next day, but also not only just kind of looking at day by day, but kind of getting ahead of that. So, what are my annual goals? Getting those down. Are there any specific projects I'm working on that I need to define? Break them down a little bit. You know, at work, you do that when you're working on a team. You definitely break down your projects into smaller tasks. But as individuals, sometimes our projects, like writing books, creating planners, creating online courses, things like that, you don't necessarily take the time to do that. So I wanted to make sure I had a place for that. Also, I wanted to really design my week. What did I want my week to look like? I currently work in a job where I have a very long commute. Now, don't feel bad for me because I love my job. It's a fantastic job. But that commute has given me so much time to listen to audiobooks and expand my learning. So now I look at my commute time as my learning time, my studying time, sharpening the saw. But that time, I'm using that time for that. But then also, when do I get to the gym? I sometimes I don't get to the gym. So how do I design my week to make sure I get enough sleep because I'm very protective of my sleep? I make sure that my calendar is protected so I have time to eat because I do get hangry. And I can still get everything done that I need to get done. So there's a section for me to design my week, and I'll show it to you. I'll spread it out. I've even got one that I've marked up. I'm about to move into my next planner because it is a 3-month planner. Use it up quarterly, or really the whole idea is that you can get started whenever you want to, not just for New Year's and when you're saying I'm going to be more organized this year. So there's designing my week. There's also designing my morning and evening rituals, and I am a system kind of guy. I get a little freaked out if my systems get off balance, but my systems help me to not have to think through some of the details that are super important. So there's a section for that for me to map those out. And the fact that it is a 3 month planner, then every 3 months I get to reevaluate what's working, what's not working, what I'd like to shift around. So I'm going to show you that again. It's the Show Up and Shine Planner. You can get it at joshuaharrell.com and just go to the shop section. It'll eventually be on Amazon, but I think you'll get a better deal if you get it on my website. Yeah, and in case you're curious, it's only in orange right now. And don't worry, I do know that it is only a 3 month planner, and you might get bored with the orange. So we are working on marigold. This is the persimmon, an indigo, and a plum. And those are kind of the colors of the ribbons, the spine ribbons that come with the planner. So, anyway, let's get started on the planner. So, when you crack open your planner, you have got, let's see, no questions so far. That's pretty good. You've got a section here. I'm sorry if the light needs to kind of adjust here. It gives you a little section here where you can, get your name, email address, phone number, year, and the quarter if you work on the quarterly system. Just a way for you to identify which book this is, because over time you kind of collect your planners, file them away, archive them. Just easy for you to, at a glance, see which one you're talking about. Like actor. I don't know why I was speaking like that. I'm trying to speak fancy. After that, you get some just written instructions on how to use the planner. Just from me, what each section means, and just, I know it's not visual, but I didn't want to take up a lot of your planner space, because one of the things that was really important for me in designing this planner is I wanted to make sure that it fit into my briefcase, my satchel. It didn't scratch. I didn't want any metal spiral ring for, I don't want it to scratch my devices, my laptop, my iPad, my phone, my bag itself. I also didn't want it to be big and fat. I wanted it to be kind of nice and good, nice notebook size. And most importantly, because as a child, whenever I got a new hardback book, and my mom would read from it, I would get mad at her if she opened up the book and caused the spine to get all mangled up and looked used. I'm not sure if that's why it took me so long to develop a love for reading, but it is the truth. I don't like books that are hardback, and when they open up, they've got that bend to them, and you kind of keep avoiding the seam the whole time, so you lose a lot of space. I wanted a binder or a planner that would lay flat no matter what time of the quarter I was in. So it lays nice and flat. I've got a beautiful smooth surface to write on. The paper does not bleed. It is a matte. And throughout you'll see I really like to keep it a little interesting with some color to keep you engaged with it. So those are some of the reasons why it is what it is. Oh, and also it is not real leather. It is faux leather on purpose. And if you wanted to just look at it real quick, this is the cover. It is debossed with this sun that has little suns sparkling all out, so to kind of indicate that you are going to shine each day. So that's the first part of the planner. So once we get through the instructions, then real simple, we've got an annual goals page. Let's see if I can get it in there. the annual goals page. Here, just jot down everything that you can think of. And I wanted to bring my pen container in. I love color, and I love color in my planner. Not really for, um, I don't use it as an organization tool. I just use it as a way to kind of break up the monotony of everything that I'm putting in my planner. So I know you're jealous. There's highlighters, gel pens, felt pens, just everything in here. So grab a pen, get to going. Very, very simple. Write down all your goals. Write down. There's a column for which quarter you might do it in. So if this is your quarter one planner, you can start to jot down some of your future goals. Or maybe there are things that are going to be you want to complete them in the fourth quarter, but you're going to get started with them now. So just this is a free space for you to jot down everything that you want to get done in the year. And I think that's what's important, is kind of not necessarily thinking so far out that you're looking at your 3 and 5 year plans, but really just what do you want to get done this year, making sure that that's kept in this annual goals section. You have a little place where you can tick the box when you get it done, which is fine. Here, let me take a little bit of water. So you can tick the box when it's done. And this is my planning system, but obviously I left a lot of room for you to be creative and come up with your own ways of using this. So you can use all of the different pieces that I put in, or you can just use some of them. The most important thing is I want you to have a tool that when you go into a meeting, you are not one of those annoying people with their Apple Watches dinging with text messages left and right, or constantly looking at your cell phone. And even though you're looking at your cell phone because you don't have a watch, it just looks like you're tethered to your device. And let's face it, when you're in meetings, and a lot of us are in meetings all the time, and sometimes we're wondering, why are we in these meetings? Going old school, going paper, helps you kind of get in that mode of, what, there's no distractions here. I've got my planner. I know what time that my next meeting is. Hey, I've even started wearing an old-fashioned watch because I'm trying not to bring my devices into meetings. Oh, hey, Stacy. I just saw Stacy join. Hey, Stacy. Just talking about the Show Up and Shine planner. Okay, so after your annual goals, you have one page. It's pretty long. I don't know how many spaces we've got here, but quite a few spaces. I figured that was enough for annual goals as you were kind of filling up what you want to work on for the year. And then you've got a couple of pages of your project roadmap. Now, let me see if I can get that in there without it getting too crazy. Well, I don't know why I'm struggling with the camera today. All right, so this is a project roadmap. You've got a section to set your goal for your project, your progress goals, and those are really the milestones. How do you know you're on target to hit the goal that you're shooting for? Put those progress goals, or break down your bigger goal into milestones. Jot those down here. And then you've got 3 sections for each of those progress goals on how you're going to achieve the work on this project. Now, any task that you have to do whatever you have to do where there's more than one task, that's a project in my book. So that's where I would use the project roadmap, just to help you kind of think out some of the details. And a lot of times when you write down, here's the original goal for my project, and then you go to break down the milestones, you think of quite a few other things that you need to do to get done. So in a little way, this is also how I kind of mind map some projects. But you've got 3 of these in here. I'm thinking a project a month is a pretty reasonable set of things to do. And then you've got your design the week. Let's see. I hope this. Every time I try to show pages on camera, the lighting kind of goes a little funny. So what this is, and I'll show you one that I've filled out. But this is Monday through Sunday. This is not one of those planners that takes weekends off because guess what? We are all so busy, and I don't think anybody really takes weekends off. There's side hustles, there's writing, there's driving your kids around to gymnastic uh, competitions, plays, all these things. So you got a lot going on. But this is really for you to design. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm looking. Stacy has a question here. So she's on a plane, so she's about to go into airplane mode. So safe travels wherever you're headed, Stacy. Will you have these at Edge or Travel Quest World? I will not bring these with me to Travel Quest World or Edge, those events that I go to. This is something you can get on my website, joshuaharrell.com. Yeah, I kind of feel that would be weird if I was hawking my wares at one of our events. Anyway, thank you for the question, Stacy. All right, so designing your week. So this is you mapping out what it is you want to get done and plotting it down into the perfect week. So you're not thinking about next week I've got a dentist appointment. You're not thinking about, every other Thursday the housekeeper comes. You're not thinking about any of those things. This is just what are the things that you want to get done? What are the things that are so important to you that you want to make time for? And I have to say that this has come in handy several times. First, and it's probably going to come back again, I needed to get in shape a few years ago, and I lost about 60 pounds because I carved out certain time periods within the day, not only to eat and make sure that I was keeping up with my nutrition, but also that I was running on a regular basis. Need to get back on that bandwagon. I'm just saying. The other thing is when I started writing a book, it took me about 2 years to write a very, very small book. And it really took a lot of discipline to even get that done, and not only to get the first version written, but then to do the editing and then to get it published. I have a lot more books that I want to do, so when I look at designing my week, um, right now, the work, the map that you see, you're gonna see where I've divided out my workout time, and some free time, and a little bit of writing time. So I probably need to, if writing more is a goal, I need to adjust my week a little bit. So here's mine right now. Hopefully you can see it again. The lighting is a little strange. Doesn't have to be beautiful. This is not a masterpiece. This is just my life at a glance. Oops. And slips of paper coming out of one side of it. There we go. Anyway, this is how I designed my week, and I'll just talk to you about it. Um, some of the people that have received the planner said, "Why did you start at 5 a.m.?" And that's because I get up at 4:30, sometimes 4 o'clock every morning, just because I want to get in all the things that I want to get in. So I will add a little caveat to that. I give myself a little bit of a buffer because the thing that I love the most every single morning is after waking up my dogs, feeding them. I like just snuggling with them in the bed. So there's snuggle time that I didn't write into my planner because I thought if somebody found my planner, they'd say, snuggle time. That sounds like sexy time. And that said that he is having to budget that in. No. From 6 to 7:30 a.m. during the week, I've got my workout time. From 7:30 to 8:30. I've got drive, learn, breakfast. So I'm eating my breakfast while I'm driving, or I get to work a little bit earlier, so I have time to eat my breakfast. But I've got my learning time, my driving time. So that's I'm noting on my weekly my design the week. I'm noting that I am getting my learning time in because that's really, really important to me. Then, of course, I've got my time blocked out for work. I've got time blocked out for lunch, but I also had to do something. I have an office, and I sometimes eat at my desk. And if you're guilty, you know, give me a thumbs up because that's a very bad habit. So I actually wrote in here that from 12 to 1, it's lunch slash social time. So either I'm going to eat lunch out in the common area in my office, or I am going to call an old friend and just have some kind of connection because that's a long time to be at work without any kind of me time. So I made sure I blocked that out. Again, work time, and then in the evening, my commute is a little bit longer just because I live in Atlanta and traffic is a nightmare. So I've got again drive, dinner, learn. I will say that when I first mapped this out, I was picking up food on the drive home so I could eat while I was driving. Hence why I put on a few pounds there. Now I am fortunate enough to have food waiting when I get home. So it really is just a drive and learn time. So I'll update that again. And then around 7:30 on, that's my family time. So whether it's watching TV, playing with the dogs, taking the dogs for the walk, I made sure that I put time in here for family because that was something that throughout my career has not been a number one priority for me, and I always feel like I missed out on that. So when I was designing the week, I wanted to make sure I had time for that, and that's also kind of going into my Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna see if I can get this in here. I don't know if it's visible. It might be visible. Um, but in the early mornings, I'm listening to my audiobooks or I am reading. 7:30, I do cardio. On Saturday, there's a big block of time here. And that's for lifestyle maintenance because you got to get your hair cut, you got to get your nails done, you got to, make sure that the clothes are off at the dry cleaner. So I just kind of lump that period as lifestyle maintenance. If I can get any of that time back, or if I can do that with a friend, then hey, it's now social time as well. There's time to take the dogs to the dog park, and then there's free time. And lately, I've been sucked into documentaries on Disney Plus. So there you have it. Sunday, pretty much the same way. However, in the evening, I jumpstart my planning by going ahead and looking at the week ahead. So that's Design the Week section of the planner, of the Show Up and Shine planner. Then we have another section here for daily rituals. And the daily rituals, there's a section for your daytime and your nighttime. These are the things. I read a book, and I want to say it was called The Daily Me's, and it was about how in a professional kitchen, it's all about preparing for the day, making sure that you have all your tools handy, that they're in the right place. You always know where they are. You're always prepped for the task at hand, and you're always thinking ahead. Um, and part of that book's lesson, and I'm sorry that I'm drawing a blank on it, but part of that book's lesson was you have things that you have to do in the morning, you have things that you have to do in the evening. And if you can really map them out, so it's not necessarily a checklist, but a system where you know how much time it takes, then you can plan for that in the future. So, here I've got in the morning, it's check email. I give myself about 30 minutes because I try to organize my emails as they come in. Sometimes I do reply. Check calendar for appointments. Sometimes appointments move through the overnight. and prepare an agenda for my morning meeting. Every morning, I like to meet with my team. It's not necessarily a formal agenda, but just, what are some notes? And I kind of collect those notes from the previous day as well. Um, so I just make sure I'm ready for that meeting, review the plan for the day, and post on social media. Because if you are running a business, if you're doing a side hustle, you need to be posting at least 4 times a day and trying to go live at least once a day. I keep on saying that to people because I'm hoping it will stick. I also need to take my own medicine and make sure I'm doing the same. So that's in the morning, and then in the evening, or before I leave work, that is, my final email check, tidy up my workspace, make sure my colorful pens are where they need to be. I also look at what tasks I was able to accomplish, look at any notes, things that I added, and I either move them to the next day, or if I can quickly get them done, then I take care of them there. So that's the daily ritual. You've got a page on the opposite side for notes if anything kind of carries over, if maybe you have a formula to your agendas, like that daily meeting I was talking about, or one-on-ones or weekly check-ins, things like that. You've got some space, and I tried to put this space throughout. A lot of planners on Saturday and Sunday kind of combine those and make those just one page. You've got 7 days for each of your weeks where you've got a daily page with your agenda and next actions, and then you've always got a notes page, just because I feel like that's so important to have plenty of space for me to take notes, as well as extend out my tasks that I have to do for the day. Okay, let's see. Odell, guilty. I rarely get out of my office for lunch. Odell, shame on you. We got to do that. We got to turn off the Teams messaging, and we've got to leave our desk. Even if it's just to go to the front lobby and hang out. It really does make for a miserable afternoon. And let's see. Your link is broken, by the way. Uh-oh. You know what? It's not really a link. If you're talking about my shopping link, let me put that in here. I was basically saying go to joshuaharrell.com and then go to shop, and then you could get to the planner. So I apologize. I know Odell. He is a fantastic guy, and the fact that he's calling me out on the fact that my link is broken kind of stresses me out. So there we go. I'm putting it in there. So it is correct. All right. Sorry, didn't mean to get distracted there. But thank you, Hotel. Because if you thought it was broken, there are a lot of other people that thought it was broken too. All right, so your next section, I'm going to show it to you blank, is your monthly calendar. And I'm going to show it to you blank. This gives you plenty of space for you to, whenever you get started, just, let's see, put your month in this section here, and then you can date it and put anything, especially you've got all 3 of your monthly spreads up in the front, so you can kind of map out your 90 days of using this planner. I will say that if the first day of the week falls on a Friday, or the first day of the month falls on a Friday, you are going to have to carry over. You're not going to have enough space on the spread. It's going to have to carry over to the next month. That probably doesn't make sense until you have to do it. In March this year, that is what happened, and it got pointed out to me, and I was like, well, of course, I didn't think about that. But you do have plenty of space, plenty of white space for you to um, make some additional notes where you need to. One of the things I wanted to point out about the monthly calendar, and I'm going to take a sip of my drink. Sorry, it's a lot of talking. is there's a little section, and I hope you can see it here, where it's in orange. It's kind of got like a filled in orange and a little asterisk. And down at the bottom, the asterisk is telling you it's the thoughtful calendar. Now, the ideas in this planner are not mine. I am not that brilliant. I wish I was clever. I am not. Um, but something a long, long time ago when I worked in retail, I worked with a company who believed in having those little planners, just the normal little two spread calendars where you had a whole year in a book, and one of those was designated as your thoughtful calendar. And the idea is that as you have conversations with people, there are things that they say like, "Oh, my best friend is getting married and I am putting on the bridal shower and it is going to be on X date," or "I'm turning 40," or "my son's birthday is X." These are things that you can put on the thoughtful calendar when they happen, or as you gather that information, so you don't forget them. It's those are the types of things that get easily forgotten, and I wanted to make sure that you had a place in your calendar for the 3 month period where you could document those things, people's birthdays, things like that, because then as you're filling in your weeks and then your days, you can kind of come back to this monthly spread and say, "Oh, that's what I need. I need to get some flowers for so and so," or "I need to just acknowledge this life event that's going on." So that's what the thoughtful calendar is. If you don't want to be thoughtful, you don't have to. It's there for you. You can take it or leave it. But that is what that means. That's what the thoughtful calendar is. All right, so moving on, moving on. All right, our next section is your weekly positioning. All right, sorry, I do know the names of these things. It's just hard when I'm on camera here trying to get that just dialed in. So here, for every single week, you start out with a weekly positioning page, and that gives you space for you to document your big wins from last week, because too often we don't celebrate our wins, so pretty important. Um, so really think about, what happened last week. Did you have a great conversation with your boss? Did you have a great conversation with a team member? Did you get a green light for a project that you wanted to work on? I mean, anything that you just kind of, as you're kind of reflecting back to the past week, and I do like to do these on Sunday nights. If you really chill out, you don't really need to use your planner on the weekend, then this is a Sunday night thing. But I do like to kind of go back while it's fresh in my mind and jot down those big wins. I also want to jot down my weekly milestones. They don't necessarily have to tie into your project roadmaps from earlier in the book, but what are the milestones, the mile markers I need to hit as I go through this week? And it could be a variety of things. And something that I try to caution everyone on is don't, this isn't just about work. We are phenomenal forces as human beings. So the Show Up and Shine Planner isn't just about showing up and shining at work. It's about showing up and shining in life. Um, so this pretty important, to map out how just the mile markers through the course of the week, so you know that you're on track. Here you've got your whole week, just little spaces for the days of the week. This is where you kind of go back to your monthly calendar and jot down some things that you want to carry over, and just kind of looking at your week. Oh, you're going to be out of the office half the day on Wednesday. That's something when you're trying to think about what's happening during or as you're planning out your days, to not put yourself too heavy on a day when you're only going to be in the office half the day. So you've got this section right here for things that are going on during the week, celebrating February birthdays. Bam, that could be in here. You've also got another notes page. And also on the notes page throughout the book, you've got a little, I don't know if it's going to be visible there, but you've got a little key down here. So square, if I'm writing my notes and I'm assigning myself a task, there's something I need to do, I put a little square there and write down what it is. Call Odell back about computers in Texas. I don't know. Since Odell was on the line there, I wanted to put him there. You've got, if I put a circle there, I've delegated something. I've said, "Hey teammate, will you do X, Y, Z?" So by putting a circle there, I know that it's not my task, but it is something that I want to follow up on, and I am waiting on to make sure that it has been done. Once I've confirmed that it's done, then I'll tick that little circle, and that'll be complete. A little star. Guess what a star means? It means it's important. And then a question before the note is just letting me know that I have a question, maybe something I want to research later, maybe whatever meeting I'm in where this question's come up, it's not time for me to ask that question, and maybe I just want to follow up later. And then if I'm recapping the meeting and doing any notes, then I'll look for my questions, or I can follow up with emails later or instant messages. So that's on every single notes page throughout the book, so you've always got more space for to-dos. I know that's what you were looking for and hoping for. All right, and then now we're getting into the good stuff, right? Now we're getting into the daily pages. So you've got a daily page for 7 days of the week. I don't skimp on Saturday and Sunday. They get full spreads themselves. So you've always got your daily page and your notes page. So just want to explain a little bit here. Again, pretty simple. You've got starting at 5 a.m. going all the way until bedtime at 9 for me. So this is not the late night owl calendar planning system. This is definitely designed for me. Get up at 4:30, go to bed by 9. So yeah, party days not included. But you've got plenty of space if you need to extend that. You also have a little space right here where you can customize the date in whatever format. And then you've got this area, this big block of space right here called DPS. And the DPS is your daily positioning statement. So if you had your weekly positioning page where you map out your, where your week is supposed to go, your daily positioning statement is a block. I like to use it as a message to myself. Recently, just coming off the holidays, there was a day previous to the holidays where I had to write there. Well, I didn't have to. I felt the need to write, "It's the freaking holidays. Calm down." So notes to self, inspirational quotes, big days, anything that you want to put there, that's a free space. It's called your DPS, like your GPS. Where are you going today? Put it right there. It's not a to-do. It is just something to kind of keep in the forefront of your mind. And it's funny because when I listen, well, it's not funny, but it's just, I find it interesting. As I'm listening to audiobooks in the car, sometimes I'll catch somebody say something that I'm like, oh, that's a great way to think about that. And so that will end up going into my DPS. You have a section here for 3 daily targets. So these aren't necessarily actions, next actions, or tasks. These are maybe projects that need to happen or big meetings that need to happen. It just gives you a little extra space for you to call out 3 priorities for the day. And it might even just be you being present, reminders to keep your calendar clear. It's definitely a signal for where you're trying to go for the day. If you did want to make it your top 3 tasks, it can be that too. Again, there's no real rules. I just wanted to give you lots of options. And then you have your actions and tasks area here, and it's a little hard to see, but you've got a little section right here where, and again, you've got a little legend down at the bottom where a check mark means that it's done. I will say that sometimes I just draw a line through it. Some habits are hard to break, but that is something that I do. A little slash mark means that I'm waiting for somebody else to do it, or there's some kind of it's on hold for some reason. So when I can finally confirm that it's done, then I can turn that little slash into a check. A circle again means that it's been delegated. An X means to delete it. Maybe I still want to, if I crossed it out, scribbled it out, I might not remember or can see what the task was. So an X helps me know that it's not something I need to do, but at least if I wanted to go back in my notes, I could see that when it was done. Um, and then there's a little sideways arrow, and that sideways arrow is when you defer something to the next day or to another day. So, and again, I can come over, I can take notes for my meeting in the notes section on the opposite side. But what I do, the last 30 minutes of my day, part of my work, my PM ritual, is I go through and if there's anything I didn't tick off that got completed, I tick that off. If it is something that I'm moving to another day, another week, I'm putting it on the monthly calendar, I'm shifting it somehow, I will use that little arrow mark pointing to the right, showing that I have moved it. Otherwise, if I come back, if 3 days have gone by and I come back to a page and I see that the task hasn't been completed, and it hasn't been deferred to another day, then I'm able to catch myself and make sure that that task moves on to the rest of to another day, or I delegate it to someone else. And that just keeps repeating. The cycle just keeps repeating. So it goes Monday through Sunday, and then you've got a weekly positioning page, and then it starts over again. So you've got your little spine ribbons that you can move wherever you need them as you're kind of shifting through. And I'm thinking that's about it. I kind of feel like I talked about quite a lot. But I will say that the people that have picked up the planner already, it's free standard shipping in the US. If you get it at joshuaharrell.com, just hit the shop button and then you'll go to the store there. But people that have already gotten it, I've gotten some great feedback. I've even got some little tweaks. So look for enhancements to come. I think it's kind of like what Walt Disney said about Disneyland. It will never be finished as long as as long as there's creativity in the world. So I want to make sure that if you pick it up, you let me know how you're using it, how you're getting on with it. Like I said, more colors are in the works. And of course, you'll be able to buy them in bundles and, all that kind of stuff. Because some of us, feel more comfortable when we got our whole year already waiting for us through our planners. But anyway, this is the Show Up and Shine planner. Those of you who have picked it up and have given me great feedback, thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been a project that has brought me a lot of joy, and it is bringing me a lot of joy that a lot of people are using it and loving it. So pretty important to me. So go to joshuaharrell.com. The blog's there, more stuff coming, more books coming, more planner, more productivity tools coming. But I just thought it would be a good idea to take you through the planner and how to use it. If you do go to my website, you can see all the pages, you can zoom in, and you can really go to town on it. I really wanted something that was pretty, that would look good on your desk, would look good in your handbag, would look good sitting in the pocket in the plane seat in front of you, and something that at the end of the day helps you show up and shine every single day. If you have any questions, email at joshuaharrell.com. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Instagram at Joshua Harrell. Actually, on Facebook, I'm at Josh Harrell. So that's the only thing that's different. At Twitter, at Joshua Harrell. Anyway, thank you for taking time to listen to this, watch this. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you find it as useful as I am finding it, and give me your feedback. All right? Take care. Until next time. Bye.